Thank you very much, President. Rampant sexism and misogyny at the WRU resurfaced. We watched as harrowing tales unfold of women who had contemplated suicide as a result of sexing bullying. All the while, senior management failed to take any action at all. And the program Charlotte Wharton, who was hired by the WRU to help transform women's rugby, described hearing a man she worked with say he wanted to rape her in his hotel room in front of other members of staff in the office, including a senior manager. The WRU did eventually investigate, but failed to speak to key witnesses, including the alleged perpetrators. Minister, while I accept that dealing with the issue raised in the BBC program are a matter for WRU, we have to make it clear that such behavior has no place in today's Wales. Will you, as a Minister for Equalities, be meeting with WRU to underline the fact that sexism and misogyny are not to be tolerated in any workplace, especially in such a high-profile one like WRU?
Altaf Hussain, and thank you so much for making that strong statement this afternoon. I also watched the programme, as many did, I'm sure, across this chamber, and the details in those testimonies were absolutely devastating. I was, just thinking again of the impact on those the courage of the women who came forward. Such courage to take after experiencing the harassment, the bullying, the abuse. But I have to say what came over was serious, I would say, institutional misogyny and sexism, which obviously imbued the organisation. Now, this is something which, of course, the Deputy Minister for Arts and Sports is engaging with. We fed back yesterday. She'd already met with WRU on the immediate actions it must take. But I want to say, as Minister for Social Justice, that this is clear from our perspective, from our violence against women, domestic abuse and sexual violence strategy. Women and girls have the right to be safe in all aspects of their lives, and we are now extending our strategy to tackle abuse in the workplace and challenging damaging behaviour and attitudes head-on, so that all women and girls in Wales can live fear-free.
Thank you for this response, Minister. If only the WRU could be more like the FAW, who ought to be congratulated for bringing in equal pay for male and female footballers. Of course, it behoves all of us to tackle misogyny head-on. Where Tag recently launched a petition aimed at making public spaces safe for women. After the UN Women National Committee UK found that 71% of women in the UK have experienced sexual harassment in public places. Minister, what action are the Welsh Government taking to ensure all our public spaces are safe for women and girls?
Thank you again for those very strong statements in support of our strategy, our violence against women, domestic abuse and sexual violence strategy, which, as I said, is now tackling the root cause of the violence, misogyny and sexism that women are facing. And, unfortunately, this means that we have got, this is a societal problem which needs societal responses, and it requires all of us, including all with any power, to be challenged in terms of their behaviours. I do welcome, of course, the good news. We've got equal pay for our female footballers, which is fantastic, and we congratulate FAW for showing the way forward. I think one of the saddest things watching that programme as well was, the fact is that those women rugby players are wonderful women in sport, and they haven't been given the chance and the support that they need. But in terms of every aspect of life, I think this is a really strong and I'm sure cross-party backing for our strategy, and we must continually raise this in terms of the cultural change we need in all our institutions, reflected here in those comments today.
Thank you, Minister. It's not just in public spaces that women do not feel safe. In the House of Commons chamber, women face wild misogyny. Labour MP Rosie Duffield, during a recent speech in the Scottish Gender Reform Bill, was subject to wild abuse from fellow Labour MP Lloyd Russell-Moyle, who later went on to abuse every woman who raised concerns about the bill. His action should have been condemned, yet the Labour Party leadership doubled down, briefing against Rosie Duffield to the press with Keir Starmer's, head of the Commons, saying she should spend more time in her constituency and less time with J.K. Rowling. This had led Rosie to conclude that Labour has a women problem. Minister, is your Westminster colleague right? Is your party stonewalling women and allowing rampant sexism to blossom? Thank you.
Well, I'm very, very sad that we have got to finish these what were very powerful and strong questions with that very unfortunate tone. I'm very proud of the stance that we're taking. Indeed, the fact that we've got our LGBTQ+ plan actually being presented in this chamber, and I hope that will receive the support of the whole chamber in terms of LGBTQ+ rights and the actions that we're taking, the strong actions that we're taking. This is going to be, I hope, I call on you, the Welsh Conservatives, to say that you will be backing what we in the Welsh Government, with our partners in the cooperation agreement, are taking forward. Of course, we need to treat each other as politicians with tolerance and respect, and that applies to all parties. I have to say, your party as well, Altaf. But, let's just now look forward to a positive reception to what I think is going to be a really pioneering plan, which will be a plan which will be recognised across the world in terms of its respect for people, for LGBTQ+ people in Wales.